Hello and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be taking you through how you can move to Thailand in 2021. I've been living in Thailand now for around 2 years, so I'll talk you through some of the things you can consider if you're looking to move to Thailand. I know that moving countries can seem pretty daunting, but actually moving out to Asia can be pretty straightforward. My experience here primarily relates to teaching in Thailand. However, with that being said, I still believe that there is some value that you can find in this video if you're looking to move out to Thailand in general. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like. And if you're enjoying the content, be sure to subscribe to this channel, as I will continue to keep posting more content related to Thailand, as that is where I'm living at the minute. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So number one, should you find your teaching job before you move to Thailand or once you're in Thailand? And for this, I would say it's a lot easier to find a job once you are in the country. Thailand moves at a very fast pace when it comes to things like this, and if you apply for a job, you could have an interview the next day. So it's best to be in the country so that can happen and you can move forward with that. And interviewers do usually prefer it if you are in the country. It's easy for them to call you and to arrange a quick interview with you. So yeah, I would definitely recommend being in the country so that you can apply for a job and then go to that interview in the same week. Obviously, this doesn't apply if you're someone who is looking for a job at a big international school. That is completely different. I assume the hiring process is a lot longer there, and they do usually hire candidates from outside of the country and bring them into the country. So this does not apply if you're one of those people looking for a big international school job. For me personally, I was very lucky that when I moved to Thailand, I pretty much got an interview the week that I arrived in Thailand, and I was accepted onto that job within my first couple of weeks of living in Thailand. For my partner, it took him a little bit longer because we were a little bit more picky about the roles that we wanted after teaching in Hong Kong for a little bit. With that being said as well, it's very easy to find a teaching job in Thailand, but whether that teaching job is suited to what you want completely depends on you. If it's your first time moving over to Thailand and you just want to get some teaching experience, then yes, it's very easy to land a job. There's always lots of places hiring in Thailand, and especially now in 2021 with the current world situation, a lot of expat teachers have moved away from Thailand, so it has left plenty of job opportunities out there for new teachers. So if you're not in the country and you kind of just want to start browsing for jobs, you can look at the website ajarn.com, and on there they post different teaching positions that you can have a look at, both inside of Bangkok and outside of Bangkok. I'll mention later on in the video what time of year is best to start looking for teaching jobs, as there is a Thai calendar that Thai schools run on and an international school calendar that the international schools run on. So yeah, just keep that in mind when you're looking for your teaching job. The second thing that you might want to consider if you're moving over to Thailand is what kind of budget do you need? How much do you need to start your life in Thailand? And again, there's no concrete answer I can give you for this, as depending on your lifestyle, your budget will differ massively. Bangkok is definitely a place that you can live very cheaply or very lavishly, so depending on what your lifestyle is, your budget is going to vary. However, from experience, I will say that you need around £1,000 minimum to come and move over here, and that's assuming that you go straight into work once you get here. If you want to see a video about how much I spend in a week, I will link that somewhere in the description below so you can check that out as well. And if you want to get a feel for how much other people spend, I do believe there are some blog posts online that you can look at, and obviously you can also look at other YouTubers online to kind of get a feel for how much they spend and see if the lifestyle kind of matches your lifestyle too. I believe budget is also something that depends on your mindset too. For me personally, moving over to Thailand, I was very anxious and I made sure that I had enough money to last me around 3 months being unemployed. However, some people are happy to take the plunge, just save up a little bit of money and move over and see what happens. and they kind of just make it work from there. So again, it depends on what kind of person you are. Maybe you're someone that can make it work with a little bit of money, or maybe you're someone that needs a little bit more security. So that again is something that you need to decide. And the next thing you may want to consider is timing. So when is the best time of the year to come and move to Thailand if you're looking for a teaching position? The time that you move over to Thailand may dictate what kind of job you get, so just bear that in mind. So for Thai schools, the beginning of the new academic year is around April-May time, and then for international schools, the new academic year begins in August. So in the build-up to those new academic years starting, there are a lot more teaching positions that become available because teachers who have previously taught at that school will usually tend to finish up their contract and then leave shortly after. So the new academic year will begin just a bit after they have left their position. So this probably leaves a 6 to 8 week window where schools are hiring a lot more. And again, for me personally, I did land my teaching job in June, which was 2 months before the new academic year started in August. But then again, it's not to say that there won't be teaching positions available if you decide to move over at a kind of random time of the year. There are always teaching positions available for whatever reason, so keep that in mind too. Make sure you consider which type of school you want to work at. Do you want to work at a Thai school, or do you want to work at an international school? And maybe plan your journey around which time is best for hiring. Another thing to consider if you're moving to Thailand is getting your degree legalized and certified. Now, this only applies to people from the UK. So if you're looking to move from the UK to Thailand and you have your degree all ready to bring over with you, make sure that you do get it legalized and certified, because this is something that cannot be done in Thailand by the British Embassy. They do not provide this service. We 100% have to get it done in England. I will post a super helpful blog post in the description that will tell you how to go through that whole process, as I feel like it might be a bit long for me to explain in the video. So yeah, definitely check it out in the description box below. And the last thing that you may want to consider or think about when moving to Thailand is renting. Where are you going to live? And is renting in Thailand difficult? Renting a condo in Thailand is pretty straightforward. As far as I'm aware, all you need is a copy of your passport and a copy of your work permit. However, when I first moved, I didn't actually have a work permit at the time, so I wasn't able to give them a copy of my work permit, but they were still happy to let me sign all the documents and go through with the renting process. So I believe that this is a document that isn't exactly urgent. The most important thing is your passport. And in terms of deposits, both condos that I have rented out so far have required 2 months rent deposit and then a month of rent up front, which can be quite pricey depending on what type of place you are looking at. So obviously I know that this might not be as affordable when you are first moving over to Thailand. So I will say maybe try to look for a place that you can rent day by day or monthly without any type of contract. I don't really have expertise in this area as I went straight into renting, but I will say that it could be beneficial in the long run not to sign any contracts when you first move, because if you haven't been to Thailand before, or even if you have been to Thailand before, you might want to get a feel for what area you would like to live in best. Maybe sometimes the area that is best to go out in isn't necessarily the best area to live in, so it's probably good to get a feel for where you would like to live more permanently, or if you land a teaching position, maybe to move closer to that area. It all kind of depends on what is the most important thing for you when living somewhere. Luckily, the area that I moved into was quite close to my work, but if I didn't get that teaching position, then I could have made it very hard for myself to find a job where my commute was nice and easy and that was close to my home. So yeah, just keep that in mind. There's no rush to kind of find somewhere to rent. Take your time, get a feel for the areas. A good way of looking where to rent is to go on the website HipFlat. I will put a link for it down below. This is where I found my current apartment, and on there you can search for apartments by area and it will tell you the price monthly and the square footage and how to contact someone so that you can go and view that apartment. I will say that it's a lot more easier than going into an agency. I much prefer using HipFlat and contacting the agent directly and then setting up some sort of viewing from there. So there you have it. There are 5 things that you may want to consider before you take the plunge and move over to Asia. I will say that moving to Thailand from Hong Kong was pretty straightforward, and I was able to make that decision and move in a very short amount of time, maybe 3 weeks or a month. So getting settled in Thailand is relatively straightforward and easy as long as you have considered some of the things in this video beforehand. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything else you would like me to cover in regards to living in Thailand or teaching in Thailand, as I have been here for nearly 2 years now and I'm more than happy to share any of the knowledge that I have gained over that time. So if you found this video useful, be sure to give it a like, and if you're enjoying the content, be sure to subscribe to my channel as I will be posting more videos like this in the future, and I'll see you in the next one.